it's getting insane in the title from this specific result because this didn't use Raylib. I genuinely... Today, we're going to be taking a look at what may be the best model in the world. Now, I'm not going to be that dramatic, but I might be. So, this is, of course, the new Anthropic Fable 5 model that has just been released. I know it's called Fable 5, and this is really exciting because there has been talk so much about Anthropic's Mythos model, and this is a Mythos class model, so Fable 5 is kind of the normie version of Mythos 5, if you will. To put it kind of simply, that's probably the best way that I can think to explain the difference between the two of these just on first glance. So to begin, let's just take a quick look at some of the interesting things in the announcement post here. Please do feel free to subscribe as I want that 100K plaque. That is one thing Mythos can't get me. Probably could, but I want it like in the proper way. So, Claude Fable 5 and Claude Mythos 5. Now, Fable is a name that was not commonly thrown around basically until like the last few days when the model slug or just the way or name to access the model started appearing publicly, so folks caught that. This is essentially the consumer version of Mythos class model, and what's meant by that is it has a lot of safeguards implemented in it to ensure that folks are not going to use this for malicious tasks, as this is touted as a very, very capable, perhaps the best currently existing publicly accessible model, and the fact that it's listed here in conjunction with Mythos 5, we can think of it simply as Fable 5 is almost like the normie version of Mythos 5, and it's listed right here that for a small group of cyber defenders and infrastructure providers, they are also launching Mythos 5. They are the same underlying model, but that has safeguards lifted in some areas as opposed to Fable 5, which does not. Now, pretty prominently listed here in the beginning of the announcement post is the price. So it's shown right now as $10 per million input tokens and 50 per million out, which don't get me wrong, it is expensive. However, it's a lot cheaper than a lot of folks were estimating this was going to be. I'm even surprised that this is not over $100, and based on the purported capabilities of this model, that seems to be quite a decent deal. Now, of course, we have the benchmark JPEG, which is not a huge leap. Oh, no. Okay, yeah, apparently it is. I was just looking at Claude Mythos preview here, which was not publicly available to anybody. So basically, this should almost be next to these three models right here because the leaping capability between the highest performing, at least based on this benchmark, which was Claude Opus 4.8 and Mythos or Fable 5, is significant. Additionally to that, basically, it is, unscientifically speaking, putting the Mac down on every preceding model to a fairly high degree, which makes me quite excited for some of the tests that we like to run, like the browser OS, which I do have already loaded up right here, and I'm very eager to run it. I have not used this model yet. A big focus here, or at least what is prominently mentioned, is also these models being able to work autonomously. Now, it scores highest among frontier models, even at medium effort. I do like to see that. They also do have some nice demonstrations of capabilities here. In specific, I find this very interesting because 3D CAD design is something that I've tested models with before. We did a dedicated video where they had to design an enclosure in OpenSCAD, and let's just say it was kind of a disaster. It was entertaining though. So seeing this, even this looks very simple, this little lighthouse here, this is significantly more competent than I have seen in the past when using models for CAD design, so make of that what you will. Also, they have a music related demonstration here, which makes me excited. Now, additionally here, and something I don't really commonly see in model announcement posts, even state-of-the-art ones, they're talking about things here like drug design, biology, molecular biology, things like this. Truthfully, things that I have basically no knowledge of in terms of any of this, but I find this stuff very cool because a lot of what folks talk about, at least in terms of the good potential in AI, is things like this: designing drugs, perhaps finding cures to novel diseases, or maybe not novel diseases, but finding cures to existing diseases. I should have said novel cures to existing diseases. And this stuff's just very interesting because this is a lot of what AI's power for good has its potential rooted in, I guess could be said. So at the end here, they just talk about the pricing once more, and if it's possible that this is just the static pricing, which would actually be pretty darn cool because that's not obscenely expensive for the capabilities of this model as we saw in the benchmarks. They also do list information here just about accessibility and how it will roll out, things of the sort. And with that, because I really am genuinely excited to get started here, we're going to begin this just on high mode from within the web chat interface using the browser OS test. However, this is one that has a slightly tweaked prompt because I want to specifically go into some of the strengths of this model. So basically, this is the same browser. Okay, I knew this was going to happen. It switched to Opus 4.8 because basically I added in here. I changed it to 10 applications, but I also said they must be white hat tools that can show info about the current network environment, system, etc. And we'll run the more generic one. Something I want to mention as well that I'd forgotten to is usage limits for this. So this is the $200 or the max 20x plan. As we can see right here, we're starting from a completely blank slate on this $200 a month plan. So I just want to show that so we can return back to this at the conclusion of the testing to see how much is used up. I would hope that we use all of this up and then have to transition to API, but this is definitely something I also wanted to specifically note for this test. It switched to Opus 4.8 after that long. Okay, so after quite a while, it switched to Opus 4.8, so this browser OS result is null and void. Again, we'll just see if we can get something here that hopefully doesn't switch to... Here is our Fable 5 High browser OS, Nebula OS, first and foremost. All right, not bad. I've seen this UI style before, very commonly seen. It has a nice, pretty background. Now, keep in mind, this was not able to be done with the specific GTA clone result. However, that's quite all right because we did get something, and this is the first result from Fable 5 on high, which is exciting, I think. So, first and foremost, is there a right click? No, there's no right click, which is fine. Maybe it just shows instruction following is good because it's not listed in the prompt. All right, minimize to the taskbar and then reopen. Good. Full screen. Very good. And then finally close. And I do like the dock style here, although I could use like some icon zoom when you hover over them. And we do have a clock and the date in our location. Let's just run down the line of these applications. Hyperdrift. Pilot through the asteroid gate field. Arrow keys. WASD to steer. You know what? Oh yeah. Whole breach. Fly again. Okay. It's impossible to play, but it's good. This is difficult. It did a really nice job of like a... This is just like... Maybe the Mythos 5 model could play this, but no human would be able to. Am I supposed to hit the green ones? Are those like health things? Yeah, I would. All right. Yeah, that's okay. All right. That worked. And again, you know, we're just going to keep going. Vault 3D. You're locked inside the vault. We need to reach the emerald door. Okay, this... Oh, wow. It's the I don't know how to, the way this is being visually shown to us is very, very cool. We do have a mini map up in the top right. The way it's drawing this and rendering it is really quite something, I'm going to say. Funky. Oh, we found the emerald door. Can we go through it? Yeah, we cracked the vault. Break in again. Oh, with that lingo, I'm surprised it allowed it to complete this result. Now, it was understandable that it blocked us earlier. All right, terminal. Type help to see what this terminal can do. Do not run matrix. Okay. Neofetch. Good. And that little galaxy thing is pretty. Let me see. Was there anything else in here that was of utmost interest? List running apps. Cool. Let's do 5 times 9, 45. Very good. All right. Paint application. The background in this is a bit odd. Save as PNG. And then, okay. Now, this is an issue I've seen before. I wouldn't have expected this issue where it neglected to account for the window being made larger. So the actual transparent background is a static, like in the top left. I've seen that issue before, just not in like the best model ever. Okay. Cool. And then we can apply a custom color. I wonder where that applies to. Perhaps just the static background, but it keeps the gradient. Okay. Okay. Overall, the Vault 3D game, both the games were impressive. Everything else was fairly cookie cutter and standard. So now I did also run this through OpenRouter, but I was a little worried because depending on the way that this swaps to Opus 4.8 when it detects something wrong, I don't know that that's going to be showcased here in OpenRouter. So we did get another result here, and I asked it following this, which model made this, so perhaps we have something, but take this with a grain of salt. Okay, it's simple. I basically just want to see the GTA clone. All right, that's actually very good. So again, we can't definitively confirm that this was made by Fable 5 because we ran it through OpenRouter, and it's possible that it swapped it for the same reason it did. Watch. Okay. Now, at the same time as the browser OS, I do have this in Claude Code here. It is with the effort set to max using Fable 5. I'm giving it the self-contained C++ skateboard simulation test. I am just really excited to test this, so we may do some more rapid fire tests, or perhaps less structured than some of my traditional videos. All right, the skate game's done, and it made screenshots, so I'm clicking. Oh my goodness. Holy it's getting insane in the title from this specific result because this didn't use Raylib. This is either Anthropic watches my videos and benchmarked it, or this model's just like... Oh, I genuinely... Okay, this is a new paradigm, so to speak. It put mesh colliders on the buildings, and we can see in them. This is unbelievable. This really is impressive. This is done in C++, not allowing it to use Raylib. Look at the actual... So the lean effects of the board and things like this, I mean... The fluidity of the movement is impressive. We have a lifeguard tower. This is just honestly even the text on the businesses and things like that. The car there, the purple slab, the person walking. Look at the walking animations with the surfboard and things like this. This is unbelievable. I'm genuinely blown away by this after seeing the browser OS, which now was kind of just mid because I guess it didn't really exercise the same degree of creativity here as it did here. This is, I mean, let's just yeet it. We can do grabs. Oh yeah. U and I is to do a grab. This is, I mean, okay. R is to reset. Look at this. I mean, this right here is going to be put on Steam for 99 cents. So if anyone wants to play Bijan Skate Sim, I'll put the link in the description. Look at the birds. Look at I mean, this is the Ferris wheel on the boardwalk down there. Towel on the beach. This model might actually be able to make GTA 6. There's always like the meme, make GTA 6. Actually, no, it would, I mean, I have to blur that out. All right. Do you want to proceed? No, you're done. This was the best result I've received probably ever. Next up, we're going to be performing the mid-roll ad test, where for today's sponsor, Oxylabs, who is kind enough to sponsor the channel and allow me to spend money on tests like this, as we're probably going to go into the API, we have given this a folder of specific assets, as well as a fairly verbose and large prompt, where the culmination of this test is going to be an animated SVG that has also like the script on below it for me to read, and we'll take a look at the result we get. It should basically make a little nice ad animation using the specific assets in this folder, as well as putting the text on the bottom for me to cleanly read, and some additional animations and things of that sort. All right, our mid-roll ad test is completed. Let's see how good Fable 5 is. If you're building AI agents, getting real-time data from e-commerce, real estate, or search results is a massive bottleneck. That's where the Oxylabs Web Scraper API comes in. It provides uninterrupted access to almost any public website using over 175 million residential proxies across 195 countries. I dropped this straight into my N8N workflow because it seamlessly handles JavaScript-heavy sites and scales instantly in the cloud. I did put this in an N8N workflow. There's a video on the channel. Oxylabs also just launched a new headless browser feature specifically for AI agents, plus a fast search API that feeds organic search results directly into your AI applications. Go to oxylabs.io/Bijan for a free trial. You get up to 2,000 web results for free, no credit card required. Use code Bijan for 20% off of all Oxylabs plans. And I did put a video on the channel using Oxylabs in conjunction with N8N to create a little drop-shipped item detector, and it really was quite cool. So if anyone's interested, feel free to go check that out. And also thanks to Oxylabs for sponsoring the video and allowing me to just blow money on API credits testing Fable 5. So check that out. The link is right here on the screen. And again, thank you to Oxylabs. I did instruct this to do a Three.js replication of Jerry's apartment from Seinfeld, just ensuring that it didn't swap to Opus 4.8 or any false positives, which fortunately it didn't. So let's take a peek at this and see how it did. It worked in the artifact window. What the heck? We may have to just look at it through there. All right, now we have this working in the browser. Let's go around and explore it. Let's just look at some of the materials. Okay, we have the daily times. WASD should be letting us walk. Unfortunately, that's not working, which I'm going to knock this for. I do believe it's maybe possible that we're stuck in one of the objects here. If there was a mesh collider, maybe not though. So let's look. The bicycle on the wall may actually be the best bicycle model I've seen in this test. And you're going to be like, well, Bijan, that still doesn't look very good. Yes. So that is saying something. The spokes on the wheels look good. We can see over there to the bathroom. We also see the kitchen area is very nice. And of course, a New York City stylized skyline out the windows here, which is a good touch. Overall, though, the shadows look good. The benches look good. We do have the cereal boxes and things like this. It's not a proper replication of the apartment. Nothing has yet to date actually been able to get the floor plan from that image, which is interesting. We do have a bathroom over there and things like that. Judging this independently as a scene, it's well done. Judging it based on the test this is still like an outstanding bounty in all of my tests for a model to properly replicate this. So make of that what you will. The WASD movement not working is a little upsetting, but in lieu of just wasting like tokens on trying to get it to fix that, I'm gonna probably prioritize just running more tests. We do have a fruit basket on the table and things of the sort. I'm starting kind of a weird test that I genuinely just thought of because I find it maybe kind of interesting. So I've put this back on extra high mode and I've asked it, make me an app that sees the packets coming and going from my system, visualizes them in a 3D way like buses or cars traveling on a highway, different vehicle types for different packet types. So this should be a very interesting visual demonstration, or we'll see what we get here. All right, so we've only used 24% usage. I really thought like we would have used more by now, but I'm happy to have not. All right, so it's going to build this. It gave us a little bit of info. I'll build this as a small Python backend that captures packets with a simulated traffic fallback, streams them to a Three.js packet highway in the browser. First, a quick environment check. This is not a hyper difficult task. However, just seeing how well it goes about intertwining the backend and front end, as well as visually displaying these things, will be fun. Okay, this is sick. These are actual visual depictions of the packets and traffic in the system, different vehicle types being animated for different types of packets. So we have TCP, HTTPS ones. Let's see, and we even have who's driving. So the city bus is somewhat common, that's HTTPS. We have just the regular sedan, which is TCP other. Panel van is UDP other. I mean, this is sick. This is so cool. Okay, police cars, ICMP ping. Also, did I just see like a Vespa on the side here? Okay, that's a bicycle. Okay, so the police car is a ping. So let's ping Google's DNS server and see if we see any police cars. Okay, I just saw a sports car. Oh my goodness, if you click on them, you actually see. Okay, I can't show some of these because look, the police cars are in the median. ICMP ping, this is sick. Now again, this is not necessarily like a horrifically difficult test to have run. It's like, we can even pause it. Look at that. Oh my goodness. And then orbit is O. Oh, and that, like, it's autonomously orbiting. This is so cool. Imagine if schools, like, taught things this way. People would learn so much more, specifically with math. Why do they make it so difficult? Sorry, that was a tangent. But, I mean, this is so cool. And again, it's not horribly difficult to implement all this. It's the way it wove it together and the actual density of the amount of vehicles here and the fluid movement is really, really awesome. So if we unpause it right here, we see our police cars are ping, and they do even have little like lights and things like that. This is cool as heck. And I wanted to just run something that I've never done before. And fortunately, it did still work with, I keep forgetting the model's name. I want to call it Mythos. With this model. That was cool. Next up, we're going to try the beautiful static subway scene test. This is a very exciting one. Probably my personal favorite test, at least as of this slice of time. Beautiful subway scene. Okay, so this thing, it's frustrating. It okay, that's really concerning because that's the city I'm in. Disturbing. It put this in like a weird artifact thing in the Claude UI. So downloading it and seeing it right here is a fault of the way that it was generated. I actually saw it. Let me see if I can go back and try to find the chain of thought where we saw this. I'm deciding whether to use the visualizer widget or create a file artifact for the subway station. So it, I believe, put it in the visualizer widget, which is why when we downloaded that, it was wrapped in this oddity. I named it Newton after your neck of the woods. That's scary because I don't have any memory or anything enabled with this model. So that's good. Riverside, Boston. Yes, all stations close by. Next up, it's going to be like, Claude is at the door. All right. So we're going to have to tell it then, like, once it turns this into a game, we'll have to yell at it to actually, like, make this something full screen. To do a quick usage check, we're at 37% used, and I'm running things in parallel through Claude Code as well as the web interface. So with that, I'm also going to just start the 3D printer sim just to have it ready. However, we do have our Subway FPS result now. I will just download this and we'll take a look at it in Chrome. If I can open it. All right. Wow. Okay. Let's see. Good. Okay. Because that happened with one of the Opus models. It was the first time I've actually seen the ammunition. Look at the way the folks are walking and like, oh, okay, yep. Weird, like, groaning and moaning noises, but not bad. We can run around. I'll say it's not super visually exciting, but it is very clean. That's something I'm going to notice. It almost feels like sterile, but in a good way. And if we look at this map more now, even the way that the dots are drawn there in terms of the do not cross line. Okay, we have a lot of enemies here. It auto reloads for us. Oh, what the heck? Oh, they're hugging us. Hug. Oh, yep. Look at the way they're coming out of the entryway. That's actually nice attention to detail. So I've given it somewhat of an obscure Python test where it has to generate a 3D FPS game using Python with the following features, but it cannot use Ursina. And as we can see right here, it's building this as a recasting engine FPS in Pygame, Wolfenstein Doom Classic style True Perspective 3D. So it's going to use Pygame and we'll just see what we get here. This is just a way to see how cleanly it implements these things. All right, so here's our 3D FPS game using Python. For a second, I was expecting something else. Okay, why is this so synthwave? I like that, but nowhere in the prompt did it say it should be synthwave, but at the same time, it didn't say it shouldn't be synthwave. So, hello, friend. This is just like, it's very solid. Then there's only so much you can do with this prompt. The sound inclusions are nice. Area cleared. Good. Accuracy and time. Press enter for menu. We can start again. The actual ammo tracers, the weapon recoil. I don't know why I'm yelling. The synthwave sounds. Boop, boop, boop. The mini-map. Well done. And the hostels are actually pretty well drawn considering the limitations. All the assets are. We have one hostel left behind this wall. Uh-oh. Good. All right, here's our 3D printer simulation. That's just unreal. What does the bed say? Layer lab. This is... Okay, it started printing autonomously. Look at that. Okay, the only issue I see, it's not even, this is nitpicking, is the bed started and it was hitting the LCD screen. It doesn't matter. Look at this. It actually has the Bowden tube, which is what that's called from, oh, look at the spool spinning too. It has the Bowden tube and it stays connected to the nozzle. Infill is proper, although that's like a 5% infill thing. The bed looks really good. This is, yes, this is quite good. This test has been around for a while now after I pioneered it, but... It's still, and it's showing us the actual command stream right here, which is cool. So these are the coordinates that the nozzle and bed are moving together at in conjunction. Going a bit slow. Let's just maximum speed this. Oh yeah, look at that. I want to see if it closes the top of the cube or not. Most times, no. And it didn't, which is fine, but look at that. We have clean layers. We have nice infill pattern. I would have liked to have seen adjustable infill density if I was to nitpick. However, oh, it's very, very It's well done. Triangle. Oh, the bed actually changes color to show that it's hot. I like that. Very, very well done. Beautiful. And the spool's going through like the top gantry. So if I was to nitpick, but I mean, it's good. And that would be the power supply right there. I want to try something. So I've put it on low effort here and I'm giving it the Flight Combat Simulator game because it'll be cool to see how it does in a prompt that's been run so many times. So there's a lot of frame of reference for this specific test, at least on the tests I've done on the channel. So let's see how this stacks up in its lowest possible effort mode in this prompt. So this was only 460 lines of code, but let's take a look at our low effort mode flight simulator game. Okay, this is we don't normally see camera tilt like that. Good Q and E are for like yaw and things of the sort. For low effort mode, this is still pretty good. Look at the ammunition tracers flying by us. There is no sound in this because we would have heard that. Shift is to speed up. All of these pretty much do similar control schemas for these games. Let's just see what happens then if we crash. It should. Good. So properly implemented everything, and in 460 lines of code, just to take a peek at some of the other plane models. Okay, something stealthy. Yep, okay, cool. All right, so I wanted to just run something on low effort because why not? Next up, I've told it that I need a beautiful website for Slappist Watch Company. The site should feature a high-end hero section with an animation panning around the watch, which is to be placed on the table. The entire scene needs to be created by you, as I don't have assets for the watch. Following the beautiful hero section, there should be an about section leading to a selection of available watches. There are 2 currently in line for the summer 2026 collection. All assets must be programmatically created and look like high-end Keyshot renders. Keyshot is a very high-end and expensive rendering program that gets used for like a lot of things probably that you see day to day. So it should just make all the assets look very, very high end. While it isn't officially done, it's just doing a Q&A check. And basically every time it's done that, most things have been very, very impressive. So let's take a look at our front end watch website. Okay. Geez, that's so good because I told it needs to be, that's incredible. That is incredibly well done. And it 100% captured what I was going for, where it needs to look like a Keyshot render of the actual device. It made this entirely by itself and it rendered it. Look at the actual, like the watch face effects and things like this. And if I go hands off the mouse, it just spins around, but hands on the mouse, you can kind of directionally control. Now, I will say this right here, terrible, awful, like the color scheming and things like that, bad. But this more than makes up for that, in my opinion, because you could just yell at it for that. So it's designed for that to be showcased, not in the white glow effect. So if we look at it from this angle, it looks good. The watch has a crown, it has a strap. A watch should not chase the hour, it should accompany it. Oh, that's just cringe. Look at that. Slappist Dragor. I mean, yeah, and it made these assets. It programmatically created this, captured like a static render of it, and then implemented it, included it in the site. Look at that. The Riviera collection. Kalank automatic. Dune automatic. This is incredibly well done. I mean, the rest of the site, UI-wise, it's kind of like Claude generic aesthetic, but it's the assets that it included here that are just absolutely top tier. And the way it went about doing this. If you know, you know. I hate that term, but I feel like it's kind of reasonable here. Even the backside of the straps have different color as they would in real life. Unreal. Very, very, very impressive here. And the Keyshot render, it really did properly adhere to what I was envisioning. It even put a favicon. Don't ask me to pronounce that ever. So the final thing, of course, is the virtual drum kit sim, which I have already run in the web chat. I don't really like, this is always just fun to run as like the final test, I guess. So let's peek at it. And I do have the speaker on. Click anywhere to power on the audio engine. That's very, very good. Spatially, this may be one of the best arranged ones. More often than not, they're not necessarily properly arranged good. We can move around the scene. We have some wood effects. We have some brass effects. And it's in a nice little circular carpet stage thing. We even have a stool. So let's check the important part. Does it slap? All right, it does. Let me turn the speaker up here. Good effects, though if I were to nitpick, we don't have a kick pedal, or we do, and it was kind of like placed in the drum, but you know, it is what it is. Let's check all of these. Very quiet. I do like that it did not make the cymbals overly loud, which sometimes happens. Phil Collins test. Oh, I messed that up. Phil Collins test. Phil Collins test. Spot on. All right, let's check our autoplay feature, starting with classic rock. Then we should get like a doo-doo. Good. All right. Solid. And we have adjustable BPM. No, static BPM. All right, let's try Funk Pocket. All right, let's hear this roll. Okay, more static, but good. Unless... Okay, disco floor. Yes, 100% disco. Can I play along with it? Yep. Good. Then halftime shuffle. All right. Very good. Overall, that's going to conclude our first look and test of Anthropic's Fable 5 or Mythos 5 with the lack of ability to hack into things. This was very, very impressive. And some things that stood out, this watch website, the way it had to do this and the way that it executed it was incredible. We even see individual stitching actually on the sides of the strap here. Incredibly well done, and it 100% understood my prompt denotion of like the keyshot style renders. Now, the thing that I was likely most impressed with that really stood out to me as like a completely different league was the skate game. This was 100% the best skate result, the best C++ result I've ever seen from a model. The way that it implemented the fluid motion, the movement, the person walking with the surfboard, the shops, just everything here was absolutely incredibly well done. This is like, I've not seen one this good ever. And folks who watch the channel consistently, thank you, and you're going to agree with me 100%. Just the lean effects and the way the camera transitions. Oh, okay. I didn't realize we could go in the sand, but I guess that's... Oh, okay. Splash! If we go in the water, it force resets us. And then the bail effect is obviously funny. Yeah, this was just like... I mean... This shows true capability. Either it was benchmarked on this specific test, which I don't think is the case, or it's just truly, genuinely very capable, which I think is the case. So that right there absolutely blew me away. Now, the thing to note is that the tests that were run from within the Claude Code interface were done in X high mode. I think I may have swapped one of them to high, but most of them were X high. The ones that were run from the web chat interface were all run in the standard high mode, except the flight simulator one where we ran it in low, just to see what it did on low mode. Really, the results overall were just fantastic. It seems very, very, very good. I think the worst result we received was probably the Seinfeld apartment, because it didn't properly really, one, the movement didn't work, and two, it just didn't necessarily like match the real scene to the degree I would have hoped it would have. Though it's possible if I'd done that on the maximum potential high mode, it would have. The subway game was sterile but functional. Same, we had a Python game. We had the packet game was awesome, where it had to show the packets and then like show them as traffic with different types of cars. It was just insanely, insanely cool. So if you recall, we started that from absolute zero, and we've used 49% of our 5-hour usage allotment, which will reset in 2 hours and 47 minutes. For all models, we used 8% of our usage. So, and I was running pretty heavy things, at least multiple different tasks, not necessarily large code bases that it had to chew through and do things. So your usage may vary depending on like what you're doing. But in terms of zero-shot generations, the usage was, I would say, fair, though I do have to recall I did up to the $200 subscription prior to filming this, but still, I would say play with this now while you have it here in the web chat interface, assuming you do have access to it. So really, that's going to conclude our first look and test of Claude Fable 5, or the consumer-oriented Mythos 5. Overall, it seems extremely capable in specific and software development, as some of the things we saw here, mainly the C++ skate game, were in their own league of capability. Not the browser OS, though, that was kind of mid, but everything else was awesome. So that's going to conclude it. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments, and thanks for watching.